Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I'm so happy you're here today watching and listening. I absolutely love being here to share my ideas with you and connect with you. I'm a medium, and as a medium, I connect with our loved ones on the other side, and I'm also a spiritual life coach. And as I was talking to somebody the other day about life coaching, and I'm telling them, people think, well, what does that mean? What do you do exactly? And coaching is not for everyone. It's only for the people who want to make a difference in their own lives. It's people who want to learn how to make steps, to take action, to create their best, most unique, awesome, inspired life. And that's something I do all the time, help people by coaching and with mediumship. And here on this show, every week I do a coaching tip before I take our callers. And today's coaching tip is on the perfection of your life path. Do you ever wonder how you got here, how you got where you are today, who you are today, whatever you've experienced? How does it lead you to this moment today? I'm a really big believer in the idea that we are exactly where we're supposed to be. We're experiencing exactly what we're supposed to be experiencing, and whatever happens is there to help us along our life path. So frequently people will question their life path. What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Where should I go? What should I do? All of those things. And it gets us really thinking a lot. And when we start thinking too much about this, we come up with solutions or no solutions. We start to feel overwhelmed. We start to feel maybe helpless. We start to feel emotional because we're not sure what we're supposed to be doing. And interestingly, right now in this world as we're going, we are in a consciousness shift. And you may have noticed, even if you're not aware of even what I'm talking about, you may have noticed that things are moving faster, that there seems to be a lot more drama in the world, that what's actually happening is we're trying to shift the vibration of people to a higher level, one that is better quality, shall we say. And when this is happening, because everything seems so out of control, we tend to start questioning our own paths. What are we supposed to be doing? And we want to know what our purpose and all of that is. I found, and I've said this to a few people this week, and clients and stuff, that when we have questions about what is our life path, to do something called, I call it a life review. And I find this one of the best ways to move forward. You look back at your life and you see what's happened, what you've learned, what experiences you may have had that have led you to where you are today. We have all sorts of situations that happen in our lives that help us become who we are at this very moment. And when we look back at those things, we can start to see connections and maybe pivotal moments in our lives that have brought us here. My short story, this is my short one, I'll give you the long one too, but my short story is in 4th grade when I was 8 or 9, I decided to play the violin, and that led me to becoming a medium. There you go. See how that connected? Not really. So let me show you how the rest of it is. When I chose to play the violin at 8 or 9, I ended up setting into motion all sorts of different steps or actions and choices in my life. I wasn't very good at the violin when I started, and fortunately I had a very good teacher who must have been very patient because I really wasn't very good. But he was a good teacher and he taught me well. So when one day I told him I wanted to become a music teacher, and I had auditions coming up. So he helped me, I got ready, and I got accepted to some music schools at college level. And I ended up choosing a school that was a distance from my house at that time, about 7 hours from where I grew up. But in choosing the violin, that led me to this school. And at that school, I ended up meeting my husband, which of course then led me to my kids. And I also became a professional violinist in an orchestra. And I also became that music teacher. And I had this great job. And at that great job, I met someone who had the same last name that I did. And I thought that was interesting. It wasn't the Vanderzyden name, it was my other name. And we decided to go to lunch. So we go to lunch and we end up talking about Lilydale, which so happens to be about 10 minutes away from where I worked. And she invited me to church, and so I ended up going to church at Lilydale, and the rest, they say, is history. People who are not aware of the things that happen in their lives might find it hard to figure out how they got here. But if I look back on that time, and if I hadn't chosen to play the violin when I was 8 or 9, would I have still come to this college? Would I have still met my husband? Would I still have that job that was 10 minutes away from Lilydale? And when I do my life review and I look back at those choices, I can see they led me exactly to where I'm supposed to be. So I'll continue the story a little bit so you can see the rest of it. With Lilydale, I got really interested in all things metaphysical and healing and mediumship. So I started taking workshops all over the country. At one of the workshops, I learned how to do automatic writing, which I've talked about previously. And some of you know this little bit of the story already, that I had this message in my first successful automatic writing experience: to be who you are, for who you are is blessed. Now that message, when I heard it, really opened me up. It was an awakening. I like to call it a spiritual awakening for me, because I realized I had no idea who I was. And this message, be who you are, for who you are is blessed, was kind of saying, hey, who are you? What do you want to do? And as time goes on, I kept working on learning about myself. And as I did that, that took me, and that actually brought me to becoming the medium and the coach. Everything that happens in our lives, every single thing, leads us to where we're supposed to be, or who we're supposed to be. That's just the way it is. My original choice of the violin brought me to all of these other parts. It's actually kind of cool when you think about it. Now, it sounds like this is very quick, very easy, but it's not. I'm talking this is over a long span of time. During this time, as figuring out who I am, I had lots of years of uncertainty where I was questioning, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I on the right path? But when I look back, in retrospect, I can see every single thing that I experienced was necessary. Within those choices, the situations that I had in my life, they helped wake me up to my path. And they'll do that for you as well. And they help us learn and grow about ourselves. Sometimes we have situations in our lives that aren't pleasant. I ended up going through a divorce, which, some people will be like, oh, that's horrible. But it helped me, that whole marriage and the divorce helped me recognize the importance of my own emotions, that I needed to take my own needs into consideration, because I was always putting other people's needs ahead of my own. And so with the marriage and the divorce, I'm very grateful for that. They gave me the opportunity to become my best self. Interestingly, when I think about this even further, because I love to think about how we come to where we are and what our path is, in that review, my life review, all the decisions I made were based on a very limited perspective at that time. I had no life plan. I had no goals. I didn't have something I wanted to achieve before I died. I didn't have a bucket list. I had no conscious awareness of what I wanted my life to be, much less becoming a medium or a coach. And I think about that even more, and it's really reassuring to me that I didn't need to know. And it's really cool, because so many of us, we want to know everything, the purpose path. And it was not necessary for me to know that to get where I am. But what was necessary was for me to take some action to the best of my ability with my limited perspective, and to open myself up to the awareness of what could happen in life, what options are available for me. And it helps me recognize that it all worked out without having a big life plan or a big life goal. And I didn't need to know all of that. The decisions I made ended up being right because it led me to where I am right now today, and who I am right now today. So if you're feeling lost, uncertain, you're questioning your life path, as so many people are right now, just do a little bit of a life review. See what happened there. As much as I love talking about the future and the steps you can take, it's interesting to look back and see the choices, the experiences, what you've learned, how you've grown, realizing maybe that some of the worst things that happened to you that you may have had no control over actually helped you become a better person, helped you become your best self. And I always say that it's up to you. You have a choice as to how you want to experience your life situations. Sometimes we can't change them, but we can change how we're feeling about things. You may have had a death in the family, and then you became more spiritual, or you became more aware of saying, I love you to the people that you love. Life is interesting. It's very interesting. But your life path, there's a perfection in it, whether you're conscious of it or not. So if you're in the midst of uncertainty and confusion and all those things, and you're rushing, you're trying to figure it out, you want to know what the end is going to be. This is the sign when you say to yourself, you know what? I don't need to know the end. I don't need to know what's going to happen. This uncertain time is actually the time to take care of yourself and just figure things out. Let it fall where it does. Make your decisions to the best of your ability at this moment. Don't feel like one decision is going to tell you what the rest of your life is going to be. Just make one decision. When you go through the life review, you can see you got through those past situations. And it's reassuring, don't you think, to not have to know where you're going to go and just to trust it's going to work. If you're going to go exactly where you're going to go, you're going to end up exactly where you need to end up. These random choices that seem random are not really random. They're actually in divine order to help you on your path today. So don't worry about your plans. Don't worry about trying to make it all happen, what you're supposed to do, because if you're uncertain, you're confused, you're on your life path. Just make your decisions to the best of your ability, because there is that perfection in your life path. And that's my coaching tip of the day. Very interesting one, because some people are really having some problems right now trying to figure out what they want to do, where they want to go. So I'm Colleen Vanderzyden. You can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. Also on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. And we are going to go on to our caller from Indiana, Sherry.
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm doing quite well. You sound like you're doing well. You do. You do. You sound like you'd be fine.
I do have to add to what you just said. In the past year, I have went from losing my husband to moving and being evicted twice out of two homes. I ended up and moved back to Indiana, ended up in a women's shelter, found out who my real friends was by them bringing money to me to get into my perfect apartment, and life is grand.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That is amazing. And, you know, when you look back on that, too, you can see how it all connects, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like I didn't know how I was gonna survive. I didn't. And then I thought, you know what? We plan these things. I firmly believe that we plan all this before we come back to live this life. And I can't believe I actually agreed to doing something like this, because I had to be nuts. But things are really looking good. I'm meeting really nice men, you know, as far as making a future for myself. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
It is amazing, isn't it? Because I guess, you know, that's something to do with the best things in life are the things that come out of those life challenges, where we start to feel most connected to things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you hoping to connect with your husband tonight by any chance?
Do what?
Do you want to connect with your husband tonight by any chance?
Oh, my gosh, honey, he connects with me all the time. But, yes, we are going to connect with him. Because there's something that has come up since he has passed, and I want to talk about it. Okay. Well, let me see if I have him here, because I do have a gentleman here, and actually it's kind of an interesting thing, because I'm getting weird feelings in my body, and I don't know how he passes as yet, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about body things, but I can feel all sorts of stuff going on with him. Was he sick before he passes? Yeah, he had some dementia. He was only 60 years old, and he had blood clots in his lungs. He had 3 blood clots, and the hospital double-dosed him on his meds and caused a blood clot to move to his heart, and he passed. He stood up, and blink of an eye, he was gone.
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing story, actually. Okay, that explains some of the weird feelings I'm getting, because there's lots of stuff going on in there. You know, he comes across as a really lovely man. I have to say he's got some good humor there. And I also feel,
I feel the sensation of him wanting to take care of you here in the physical as well as on the other side. And he tells me, though, that you took really good care of him with his issues. Okay, you were very good about recognizing, because I do get a little bit of fear with him on occasion where it feels as though he recognizes that he's got some dementia going on, you know, and I can feel a little bit of that in there, that fear. And you're so reassuring for him because you're so present to him. And he gives me the impression you actually would touch him quite a bit, you know, hold his hands and his arms and things like that to let him know that you are there and that and to help him stay calm and everything. Boy, he does talk about some of the plans you guys had. You had all sorts of things you were going to do later on, didn't you? Yes.
Yep.
And I get the impression. Go ahead.
We had planned on moving to Flagstaff, Arizona to live where our grandchildren are. And we had spent 2 years packing the house, getting rid of things and everything. And when he passed, I went ahead and did that. I went ahead and moved. And everybody just had a fit because they knew that it was too soon, that I shouldn't be making any major moves like that with him just dying. And I said, this was his dream. This is what he wanted to do, and I'm going to carry forth with it.
Yes. And did you have a good time there? Because it feels like it was a good time, but it seems like it wasn't quite what you had expected either.
Well, it was beautiful. I totally enjoyed the area. My daughter-in-law ended up, was very upset because I am a psychic medium, and she did not want me to let the children know that I could do this. And in turn, she kept the children from me for 1.5 years.
Oh, are you kidding?
Nope.
Wow.
No. Yeah, and the thing is, the oldest granddaughter, she's a psychic also.
Oh, that's too funny. That is too funny. You know, people have such fear about what that means to be a medium, and they, you know, it's just such a fear-based thought that it's so hard to believe. So, okay, so then you end up having to leave there. Yeah, and so then you end up going back.
I told him, I said, you know what, you brought me out here, send me home. And I told him, I said, I am not spending any money. You brought me out. I paid for it all. Now send me home. It's on your dollar. And I told him when I was going, and he did it.
Amazing. Isn't it amazing? Amazing. Now, he does mention some of these nice men you were talking about previously. Do you actually have one in particular that seems to be getting closer? Because he's giving me the impression there's somebody around you who's really a really great person.
He's on our side?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we never know. We never know what we talk about, right?
Okay, because he's talking about meeting somebody here, and even though it hasn't been that long since he's passed, he does give me the impression that there's somebody around you that is actually getting more special. So I don't know if you've met him yet or if it's still coming.
Well, there's a couple. There's a couple of them. I seem to be, it's like I have decided that I'm not looking for any man. And when I do that and I raise my vibration level up a few rungs on the ladder, it seems like 3 or 4 come. And then I have to do some sorting. I'm serious.
Well, okay.
It's like, can you tell me what he looks like? I know what they look like. Can you tell me what he looks like, and then we'll talk about it.
To see which one we like best.
Yeah.
You know, I have, okay. Oh my God, I don't know if I can talk because I'm laughing too hard. There's the feeling of the person that it's somebody you wouldn't normally call your type. Okay. I'm actually feeling a little bit less hair. I'm feeling a little less hair. I don't know what that means if he's balding.
Less hair.
I'm feeling a little less hair. But
Does he have a motorcycle? This could be an impact. Does he have a motorcycle? We could divide them out that way.
Oh. Okay. Is there? Okay. Actually, I think I do feel a motorcycle. That's really funny. I think I do feel a motorcycle. Is he also a little bit younger than you are as well?
Yeah, he's 54. I'm 61.
Okay, just a little bit younger. That's okay. You're still within the safe age range.
Oh, they're all safe. They're all safe. Are you kidding me? Go ahead.
Oh my God, you're cracking me up so badly. I love it. Okay. Anyway, he's talking about you. Well, there's no doubt in my mind you're having a lot of fun. Okay, so I don't need to give you the have fun speech, which is good. I'm enjoying that. He's also giving me the impression that, like you said, you're not really in a hurry to settle in, shall we say?
Right.
It's more of the experiences, and he gives me such an impression of you liking experiences, wanting to collect experiences, wanting to learn and grow, all of those things. And also it's the impression of having some freedom to do what you want as well. And there's so much of that going on right now. He says he's talking about you giving him a run for his money. And I don't think he means literally money, but it's the run for the money.
Right.
I feel like you were like dragging him along and making him do all sorts of things and just really keeping him involved. And he is got such a good perspective on things. It's so different than normal people, in quotes, because he really gets you. And he really gets the whole experience of what life is about, too. And I do want to tell you, too, because he gives me such a feeling of wanting to let you know, number one, how much he loves you. I want to make sure I don't forget to tell you that, because that's always so important. But also how proud he is of you, because it was difficult before he passes. And you have that resilience and that persistence, and you just keep going. And it's just wonderful. And he talks about this is your time now. It's your time now. He's going to, I'm sure you feel him a lot, because I feel him messing around with you. And he's giving me the impression. Yeah, he gives me an impression a piece of paper has moved on you. Have you lost something like a check or money or something that's important? Because he's telling me there's a piece of paper that's missing, and I don't know if it's come back already. Have you seen this yet? I don't want to predict anything.
Well, I did lose a check, but I found it.
Okay, good. I don't want to predict that that's going to happen, but he was talking about that. So there's the feeling of messing with you a little bit. So I'm sure you've experienced that.
Well, he hid my keys. He hid my keys from me for 2 weeks. And I had to get a sample key from my son and this and that, and it was when I just moved out to Flagstaff. And I had carried a chair in from Goodwill, and I fell on the ice and broke one of the rulers off, and I laid there and cried, and then I looked around thinking, there ain't a soul around. I might as well get up and go in. And so I went in and sat in this chair, and I thought, well, while I'm crying, I might as well just go ahead and unpack a box. Well, when I was unpacking the box, something jabbed me under my left thigh. Now, these keys were gone for 2 weeks, and I kind of settled in, and I thought, what on earth? And then I packed some more, and it jabbed more. And I reached under, and it was those keys. Now, keep in mind, I just carried that chair in from Goodwill out of my car. There's no way those keys could have gotten there.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at doing that stuff to me.
That is absolutely amazing to me. And I'm sure there's people out there listening who are thinking, oh, that's not possible. That's not possible. She probably did this. She probably did that. But it is possible. Spirit does all sorts of strange things. And they just want to know that we know they're there. And he is funny.
Right.
Now, he also mentions something, and I don't know if it's water or pipes, but I feel I want to turn water off. Do you have a leak or something somewhere?
Well, it's funny because, I'm renting an apartment now, and somebody came around, maintenance man came around, and he says, "Are you using excessive amount of water?" And I said, "No." Why? And he says, "Well, there's a lot of water being used in this area, and we need to locate it."
Oh, interesting. So he's talking about a leak. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I guess it's not your faucet, but it's somewhere near you probably. So, oh, isn't that interesting? So very strange.
It has to be outside underground.
Yeah.
There's nothing in my apartment.
Yeah, it almost feels to me actually like there's a small break, but it seems to be a ways from the building. Okay, so it's out a little bit, but it's not like right next to the building. So it's not like what do you call it? I can't think of the word. You know, the thing that goes around it and tightens. I don't think something needs to be tightened. It almost feels like there's a little bit of a crack in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I am getting my 2-minute warning. Did you have a specific question? We just got going on all.
Oh my goodness, yes. When he retired, he signed to get his pension. Somehow my signature got on that pension, and it's not mine. And it caused me to lose the pension at the 5-year mark instead of getting it the rest of my life.
Oh.
And and he paid into the pension for 38 years. We were married for 35.
Okay.
And
have you located all the papers that are related to that?
I'm getting ready now to contact a person who looks at signatures. I'm getting ready to do that.
And that's an interesting thought. I didn't even think about that. I want to see all the papers. So make sure you have all your papers, anything you have left from when you made copies and everything. Make sure you have all of those. And I'm also getting the impression of a lawyer having to be involved as well. Oh, my goodness. I'm apparently getting my 45-second warning now. So I'm going to have to let you go. But Sherry, it was so nice talking to you. And thank you so much for calling. Yes, I hope to talk to you again.
Call back anytime. I love to. You were talking about automatic drawing or writing. Yeah, I love the automatic draw.
Oh, good. Well, thanks so much for calling. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening tonight. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. And it was such a pleasure being with you. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next week.